Welcome back to How Good Was It, where we review the movies of our past to see how they hold up in our modern times. As always, I am joined by the crew with the mostest. What is up, Scott?
Hey, welcome back, June.
And what is up, Dana?
Oh, I'm so excited. Chris Hansen's going to be on this episode. We're going to catch that predator. Let's go.
Yes, welcome back, peoples. Thank you for joining us once again, listeners. And as always, I must remind you before we get into the meat nitty gritty of this episode that if you're watching this on YouTube, you are missing out, friends. You truly are missing out. You need to listen to the full length audio podcast to this and every episode, which you can find not only on our RSS feed, but on your favorite streaming platforms. So please follow, like, subscribe, and don't forget to rate us on your platform. Even if we suck, I'll take the 1 star. I'll take 2 even. But we can always go for a good 4 or 5 star. I'll take that just as well. But yes, now that we got that over and done with, let's get into the meat of this episode, which is Predator. Not the Predator, not Predator versus Alien, not Prey, but just simply the first Predator. So let's get down to it. I just finished watching this movie, gentlemen. Hadn't watched it since I was a kid. Whoa, let's go.
Yeah, masterpiece.
It's crazy. And of course, as always, we have to start with the wizard of the facts and figures. Scott, please give us what you got.
Well, this film was made in 1987. I think we were talking about it. I think we came to the conclusion it was 87 or 88, and it was 87. Made for $15 million, worldwide gross 98 million. So it was a hit.
Wow, impressive for that time, especially.
Yep. Yeah. And, Schwarzenegger, this was kind of, like we said, kind of like his first kind of big starring role, more to do than, he had just come off doing Raw Deal and Commando before this. And then he took on the Predator. And I think this took him to a new stratosphere. I think his acting still wasn't maybe quite where his stardom was, but it did take him to another level. The director was John McTiernan, who also directed Die Hard. So very good action director as well. And it's a hit.
You mentioned Raw Deal. I don't know what that is. What is
You don't remember Raw Deal? I believe he fights some mafia in that one. Yeah, it was a lot like Commando. It was like all the other ones, but instead, I believe he was fighting the mafia. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Wow, never heard of it. No, I gotta look that one up. 98 mil though. I mean, on a budget of what? It was like 14
million?
15, sorry.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which I mean, I guess that was a big budget for the time, but for some reason I feel like I would have thought that it would have been a bigger budget than that, given that it's a kind of
because
a
what they did was they really went to the jungles and filmed this movie. So they went on location to South America, and they were covered in leeches and mosquitoes, and it was the middle of a really bad heat spell, and it was miserable for these guys. They had a really hard time with this movie.
So this was on location in an actual jungle.
Yes.
I mean, I know, of course, many of the scenes, of course, but I figured that some of the scenes in this movie, especially in particular the night scenes, I thought maybe it might have been sets, but it was all jungle.
They may have done jungle. They may have done some on sets, but most of it was in the jungle. And Schwarzenegger got bit by leeches, and he had a hard time with it.
Oh wow, holy smoke! There was a lot of muscle in this movie, man.
Yeah.
I felt so tiny and punier than I already am. I mean, if ever I was like ashamed of my man boobs, this movie did it for me, man. Everybody in this movie was like solid as a rock. Carl Weathers, holy crap. I forgot how cut up that guy was back in the day, man. Wow, talk about in shape.
I think that's where the 15 million went. It probably went to the steroid budget, but also they did bring a gym there. They brought a gym with them, and it was like a thing where they all tried to outdo each other. And like Carl Weathers said that he would go to the gym at 6 in the morning, and Schwarzenegger would be there already. So then he would go at 5 in the morning, and then Schwarzenegger would come, and he would go earlier than Carl. They were all trying to outdo each other in the weight room, and it was a bit of a competition. So much so that Schwarzenegger knew that Jesse the Body Ventura was big, strong guy, and this ego-driven wrestler. He had the wardrobe lady tell him that his arms were bigger during their fitting, that his arms are bigger than Schwarzenegger's. So Schwarzenegger came up to him during the filming. He's like, "Oh, you have big arms, you're not as big as mine." And of course, Jesse was like, "No, they're definitely bigger." He's like, "Well, we should measure. We should bet on it." And because he knew his arms were 3 inches bigger than Jesse the Body, but he wanted to show him up. So yeah, that's Schwarzenegger.
I will say it was nice to see Jesse Ventura again.
Yeah, he was good. I thought his acting was fine in this. I think he plays that role very well.
Yeah, I think for the most part. Yeah. Oh, go Dana. Dana's already putting faces.
And no, it literally just dawned on me that two of these motherfuckers are like both were governors in the United States of America.
Oh, good point.
And they're both the two people you just spoke about. It's one thing to be like, "Oh yeah, Arnold the governor," and I was like, "Oh shit, Jesse Ventura was actually a fucking governor." Like,
yeah.
That just blew my mind. Just
wow.
Steroids do you good, kids.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I think they ran on the Predator platform. I think that's when they both ran for office. It was on this movie.
I'm sure it said, "I had no time to bleed." Is exactly what it is. I don't have time to bleed. I'm trying to serve you.
We will not let aliens come and hunt you. We will stop the aliens ourselves.
Oh my goodness, that just really blew my mind. Oh my gosh. But no, I digress. Go on, June.
No, not at all. That's a
very fuck.
I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't put that 2 + 2 together at all, man. And there you go. It's funny how life turns out. Back then, no one would have ever thought that anyone in that movie would have gotten into any kind of politics.
Impossible odds.
There you go, man. Doesn't hurt. A blockbuster movie does not hurt any political campaign, I guess. But but let's get into Predator, man. This was quite the movie. I forgot. Well, you know what? I always start shit and it's gonna be part of my critique anyway. Let's do you want to just get into the plot, gentlemen, or do we want to go over anything else? Yeah. No. All right, let's dive in, man. The movie begins and it begins in space, which I had totally forgotten about it. I was like, why are we in space? The first shot you see is space, but it is the Predator ship. I wouldn't say landing because you see something eject out of something else and fall into the earth, right? So I'm assuming it's some kind of pod or something that they sent this maybe this particular predator lost a bet or something and he had to go to Earth. But that is how it starts, followed by the next scene, which in which we're introduced to most of the cast, I believe, right? We see the arrival of Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays, what's his name in this movie? Dutch or something?
Dutch, of course.
Yes.
Dutch. Yeah.
And
Major Dutch.
And he comes in the chopper, which I'm not gonna try to do the Arnold accent, but they do arrive in choppers. They land in the jungles of is it South America?
Yeah, sure. Central America, South
I don't
America.
think it's Guatemala,
country.
I think.
Guatemala, sure. Whatever.
Insert Guatemala here. Yeah.
Close enough. But they arrive and they're greeted by this older military gentleman, takes them in, and Dutch is already asking, what the fuck are we doing here? Why are you calling us? This is some bullshit mission. Why do you need us? And that's when we're introduced to Carl Weathers' character.
Yeah. Well, of course, Dutch comes in smoking a cigar. That's something you're going to see a lot of. That's Schwarzenegger likes to work that in the movies because he loves cigars himself. So he will always be smoking a cigar in movies, and he actually got Carl Weathers into smoking cigars because of this movie as well.
He was smoking the shit out of that cigar. As soon as the first scene, he was in the in the helicopter, and he took his time. Everybody exited the helicopter like right away. He took his damn time, and he was cool, in there. Yeah, he's too cool.
Dutch don't care. He's cool.
Yeah, Dutch
is a very fine Cuban cohiba. So yeah, he can't just like ash that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You don't put it out and save it for later. God damn it.
Well,
he
you know what
enjoyed the
we're
shit out of
bearing
it.
is the when he meets Carl, or he sees Carl Weathers, his an old acquaintance. It's a famous meme, right off the bat. Arnold
The
Schwarzenegger and
two
Carl
arms
Weathers,
together.
the
Yes.
famous meme. You know, it's
Oh,
I got excited. I got excited when I saw it.